So there's an article that came out April 27th in Truthdig.com. Secret documents reveal constellation of American military bases across Africa, and is written by Nick Turse. So America has long maintained that we only have one base in Djibouti. I've never been there. I know some comedians that have performed at that base, and they're saying that, you know, in the head of AFRICOM, which is the African Command, the General Thomas Waldhauser has said that there's only one base, and we don't do any of this. So this whole article, it actually has a map in it, and the link is below. It shows that there is this vast empire of bases that we have down there, and it's revealing that it keeps growing. We have 36 outposts scattered across 24 African countries, and it's ramping up more. And what are the bases for? Take a guess. It's to just support Yemen and airstrikes in the Middle East, because Africa is strategically located, right? They're right there by Saudi Arabia. They're right there by the Middle East. Yemen, we're close to Yemen. Libya. So one of the things that happened was Gaddafi, who was a brutal dictator by all accounts. He wasn't like a nice, benevolent man, but we let him stay there until he said he was going to get away from the petrodollar. So we took him out. Saddam Hussein said, we're going to stop using the petrodollar. We're going to create our own, competitor to OPEC. We invaded that country. So that's what's going on. And we need to be in Africa, because there are some natural resources in Africa, like minerals and stuff like that for cell phones and batteries and stuff like that. But it's mainly, well, there's also diamonds. There's been, diamonds are all made from slave labor. Even the quote unquote conflict free, which is then they're not blood diamonds. They're still slave labor that makes diamonds. So this article goes into a lot of things, and I'll read some quotes here about some of the money we're spending. And again, it's part of that, as I've talked about, the 54%, and now even more with Trump, of our budget goes for this sort of secret military stuff. And again, it's the spread of terrorism. No, we're creating more terrorism. We're going out and stirring things up. We're killing civilians to create more terrorists. We're keeping governments unstable. We do not want a stable democracy in these poor countries where we either need their oil or natural resources, or we need to put a pipeline through there, or it's a strategic location for us to have bases to support airstrikes to destabilize countries to get their natural resources. That's what this is all about. So here it is. AFRICOM's sprawling network of bases is crucial to its continent-wide strategy of training the militaries of African proxies and allies and conducting a multi-front campaign aimed at combating a disparate and spreading collection of terror groups. The command's major area of effort involved a shadow war against the militant group Al-Shabaab in Somalia, a long-term campaign ratcheting up in the Trump era with no end in sight, attempts to contain the endless fallout from the 2011 U.S. and allied military intervention that ousted Libyan dictator Gaddafi. I told you about that. The petrodollar, a long-term effort with no end in sight, the neutralizing of violent extremist organizations across Northwest Africa, the lands of the Sahel and Maghreb, a long-term effort with no end in sight, the degradation of the Islamist middle group Boko Haram in the Lake Chad Basin, nations of Nigeria, Niger, Cameroon, and Chad, a long-term effort to the tune of $156 million last year alone, in support of regional proxies. Again, it's like what we're doing in Syria, where we got to get Assad out of there, so we're backing Al-Qaeda and ISIS groups to help get him out of there. Like, we're not backing, it's not like, Boko Haram is coming in and we've got to back a democratic, give people democracy to stop this. No, we're just backing other evil people. It's just like, we're backing drug dealers to stop, child pornographers or something. Like, it's just like, we're backing the Mexican mafia to stop the Italian mafia because we just want a piece of their action. It's just like that. It's just like how street gangs work. I mean, it's insane. So, and there's all these, we're countering piracy in the Gulf of Guinea, a long-term effort with no end in sight. A winding down the wildly expensive effort to eliminate Joseph Kony and the murderous Lord Resistance Army in Central Africa, which both live on. The U.S. military's multiplying outposts are also likely to provide vital to the Trump administration's expanding wars in the Middle East. African bases have long been essential, for instance, to Washington's ongoing shadow war in Yemen. That was started by Obama, which has been a significant increase in drone strikes under the Trump administration. They have also been integral to operations against the Islamic State in Iraq, Syria, where a substantial and deadly uptick in air power and civilian casualties has been evident in recent months. And here's a guy from AFRICOM, Anthony Falvo, noted that the command's strategic posture and presence are premised on the concept of a tailored, flexible, light footprint that leverages and supports the posture and presence of partners and is supported by expeditionary infrastructure. Doesn't he just sound like some corporate guy? You know, like it's some sort of quarterly business meeting. Well, we just want to have a light, nimble infrastructure to sell our products around the world. That's what this is. All of it. No end in sight, no end in sight. We just need to be in this constant state of war. There always needs to be a new enemy. And if terrorism stops, you better believe there's going to be some alien attack or something. Like something's going to happen. They're ramping us up for World War III. We just need to be in a constant state of war for oil. That's all. It's just never ending. We're not the good guys. And we're not seen as the good guys by the majority of the world anymore. So we need to wake up, and we need a real progressive party. And I don't know if we can change the Democratic Party. I don't know. Crystal Ball thinks she and I applaud her and her book and everything. I think that's great. But we really need real progressives. Progressives that aren't going to waver on this. They're not going to buckle. They're not going to knuckle under to the military-industrial complex, because that's what they want. And we're always at war. I mean, it's literally, it's George Orwell stuff. Noam Chomsky's talked about it. Chris Hedges has talked about it. This is what the deep state, the corporate state wants. Always in a state of war, secret bases, no checks and balances, no congressional approval. All this, and they'll use whatever they want. Oh, humanitarian crisis. Oh, we got a regime change, chemical weapon, whatever. Even if it's chemical weapons, we sold them. We're using. That's what we'll do. It's the same playbook all over the place. You starting to see this? It's the same playbook all over the place. And we got to wake up, and we got to get real progressives in there. Either the Democratic Party or an independent party. I don't know what it is, but something has to change. Because we can't let especially the warmongers in the Democratic Party. I mean, Hillary Clinton was like a giant warmonger. We can't let John Kerry and Howard Dean and all these other people that are all pro-war get in there. Just because, Trump's evil. Yeah, Trump's evil, but he's just, all of this stuff he's doing is what Obama was doing. He's just ramping it up. He's just more flagrant about it, but he's just doing what Obama did. Democrats' rockets have, rainbow flags and equality across the front when we go kill civilians. That's the difference between a Republican rocket and a Democratic rocket. Pay attention, guys. Support stuff like Truthdig. Support this show by going to the Patreon. Don't give your money to the corporate media, because they're going to cover this shit up. CNN ain't talking about this crap. MSNBC ain't talking about this crap. ABC, none of them are going to talk about this. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.